Hi, everyone. We'll be looking at introduction to recipe development. My name remains Dr. Jumoke Georgina Hilo. The outline. We'll be looking at the definition, scope, and importance of recipe development, the key concepts in food product development, and lastly, the relationship between nutrition, food science, and recipe innovation. Definition of recipe development. When you combine scientific knowledge about ingredients with practical culinary skills in order to create food that are acceptable, nutritious, appealing, and cost effective, then you can call it recipe development. It goes beyond ordinary cooking, you know, it involves every step from ingredient selection to preparation to sensory evaluation, and this must be carefully planned and controlled so that you can achieve your predictable outcome. Recipe development can address food related challenges. It can improve nutrient intake, it can reduce food costs, it can use it to accommodate dietary restrictions, it can also encourage healthier eating habits. Recipe development can actually be referred to the systematic process of creating, modifying, testing, and standardizing recipe to ensure that they meet the desirable standard. When you create, maybe you are creating the food from start, or you are modifying a particular recipe to make it better, you are testing the recipe, or you are standardizing it to ensure that it is reproducible. And all these are done so that you can meet a desired standard of taste, texture, nutrition, cost effective, safety, and overall consumer acceptability. Let's look at the scope of recipe development. Recipe development can actually, be developed to improve version of traditional dishes. There are traditional dishes that are not so, you know, acceptable anymore in this modern state of life. Recipe development can be used to improve this version to a version that is more acceptable. You could also use recipe development in formulating therapeutic meals for hospitals. You want to modify meals for patients with diet related diseases. You can use recipe development to design low cost recipe for vulnerable households. You have households who cannot afford expensive meals, but they still want to consume food that are nutritious and stay within their budget. Recipe development can be key in this area. Recipe development can be used to create innovative products for the food industry. Food industry want to formulate, recipe to make products. Recipe development is key in this area. Also, in improving the existing recipe to enhance nutrient density or reduce harmful components, you realize that particular snack is not healthy. You want to produce these snacks, however, enhance the nutrient density or reduce the harmful components. You can also create recipes to be adaptable for different age groups, such as for infants, adolescents, pregnant women, or the elderly. Importance of recipe development. It promotes nutritional well-being. It ensures that food are safe. It gives us sensory appeal food. It supports cultural identity. You know, recipe development can ensure that food are consistently acceptable, they are affordable, and they are beneficial to our health. You can use food recipe development, for product commercialization, for food service operation, for school feeding programs, and even in community nutrition intervention. What are the key components in food products development? When you look at the broader scientific and commercial process within which recipe development occur, then you can look at the food product development. And these include the ideation, the formulation, testing, sensory evaluation, economic analysis, packaging, shelf life assessment, and as well the market introduction. Let's take this key component one after the other. Idea generation and concept creation. It helps us to identify consumer needs, to help us know if there is a nutritional problem and what is the problem. Then we create ideas that can address these issues or problems. Ideas may arise from cultural foods. Maybe children do not want to take kunu, but s- millet or sorghum is a very nutritive cereal. You could change from kunu production to exclusion or excluded snacks that is more acceptable among children. It could be locally available ingredients. Use the same example as millet. You know, instead of using wheat that is expensive and not accessible or affordable, to making bread, you could make a sourdough bread with millet. Millet is accessible, is affordable, is available in the African setting. It could be a new crop variety you want to introduce, you know, i- i- like the orange flesh potatoes can be used to make chips, snacks that is affordable, available, and also helping to reduce vitamin A deficiencies. And it could be health trends, like now everyone wants to consume it in green, looking at blending of vegetables and fruits to make smoothies. Another example is formulation. And this is the process whereby you select ingredients and then you determine the specific proportion that you need to create a balance and a functional recipe. Here you need to understand each ingredient and how it works. When you need to thicken a food or a soup, you could make use of starch. When you need to improve mouthfeel, you could look for um, fatty foods, and then you could understand that protein can help to coagulate. Prototype development. In this case, you are able to develop a recipe, you know, it is being created and tested, and then you want to determine whether this product meets your expectation for sensory and nutritional goals. We have the sensory evaluation and refinement, whereby you have whether trained or untrained panel to assess the taste, aroma, flavor, texture, color, or overall acceptability of a product. They give you their feedback. You you adjust the recipe and you retest. Standardization is also very key. This is where you document every step, every measurement, procedures, expected outcomes so that it can be reproducible. You ensure that the product is reproducible, and at every point the product is reproduced, it gives the same texture, taste, aroma, flavor, and this can be seen in food industries whereby you take your gala product and the gala tastes the same at every time. Or you go to eateries to eat their rice, their meat, their fried meat, their jollof rice, and the taste is the same at every point in time that you buy or taste the food. You have the costing and visibility. It's very important that you analyze the cost of ingredients and production to ensure that they are affordable. Affordability is very key. Sustainability is important, especially for community-based project or for low-income setting arena. Let's look into the relationship between nutrition, food science, and recipe innovation. The three are deeply interconnected. And for nutrition, it provides the foundation for you to understand the nutrient composition of food and the effect on health. It also guides the recipe developer in choosing the ingredients that they want to use to improve a particular dietary deficiency, to improve quality, and to meet specific nutritional requirements. Example can be found in when you add legumes to series based dishes to enhance its protein quality, or you want to increase the consumption of vitamins and minerals, then you incorporate leafy vegetables into a product. For food science help us to contribute to knowledge about the physical, chemical, and biological properties of ingredients. And this help us to understand how pro- uh, how products can change during preparation, during storage, during processing. When you understand these scientific principles, then you'll be able to know how to manipulate your texture, how to improve the taste of your food, how to maintain the color. Imagine you modifying a rice-based food, and it's giving you color purple. Sometimes you want your rice to be kept white. You prefer your stew to have the orange color or the red color, and then you want your beans to look like beans, even if they are being modified. Also, in enhancement of the shelf life, food science, helps to improve the shelf life of food and also ensure that these food are safe for consumption. Thirdly, the recipe innovation can be seen to bring these two disciplines together. When you apply nutritional goals and scientific principles to create practical, appealing, and culturally acceptable food. Innovation involve modifying traditional recipes to improve the nutrient density, creating economic alternatives using local ingredients, and then you incorporate that utilize crop, or you design new food products that fit modern lifestyle. Thank you for your attention. Next class, we will be looking at the principles of food quality evaluation. Bye for now.